Good morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Sarasota. Whether you're a member, a regular attendee, or you've just found us, we want you to know that we're here to support you in finding a personal relationship with the God of your understanding and in discovering what you already know. My name is Jim Grove, a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center, and I greet you with Namaste. Namaste is Sanskrit and means the divinity in me recognizes and honors the divinity in you. Let's begin this morning by affirming our vision and mission statements. The words can be seen on your screen. Please feel free to read aloud with me. First, our vision. Empowering spiritual growth as a loving, inclusive, worldwide community. And now our mission. We teach science of mind principles and other life-affirming spiritual truths. We explore, we learn, we grow, we connect, honoring all paths to God. We offer in-person and online weekly services, classes, workshops, affirmative prayer support, and other spiritual tools. We create opportunities for joyful social connection, community outreach, and service. And we celebrate the awakening of our innate spiritual magnificence. As we prepare for our time of prayer and meditation, I invite you to relax, close your eyes, take a deep cleansing breath, and go within as Bob Teesdale sets the tone for us with a chant entitled, God is, I Am, by Eddie Watkins Jr.
God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am.
The disciple Peter asked Jesus, "How often should I forgive? As many as 7 times?" To which Jesus replied, "Not 7 times, but I tell you 70 times 7. Today, I take these words to heart and commit to forgiving, even if I have to do it again and again. I understand it's natural to feel resentment when someone does or says something that hurts me. I don't judge myself for feeling hurt, but I also understand that remaining stuck in those feelings only compounds them. Therefore, I choose forgiveness again and again for as long as it takes my heart to heal. I travel the path of love, focusing my thoughts on God. God's love within me is the soothing balm that makes my commitment to forgiveness possible. My body, my thoughts, and my soul are nourished. Forgiveness brings peace and comfort to my heart. With gratitude for this knowledge of the truth of forgiveness, I release my word to the Christ presence within, and I go free. Thank you, God, and so it is. Many of you are familiar with our guest speaker this morning, Reverend Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones, who has spoken many times for us and even assisted us to develop our mission and vision statements that we read earlier together. His own personal mission is guiding people to purpose. Dennis was the senior minister for many years at CSL Simi Valley, California, and now lives just up the road in St. Petersburg. He speaks at Unity and CSL centers in the area and has written columns for the Huffington Post, Science of Mind magazine, as well as several books. Among them are How to Speak Science of Mind, Encouraging Words, Your Defining Moments, The Art of Uncertainty, The Art of Abundance, and The Art of Being. His message is entitled, Forgiveness is Not for the Faint of Heart. But before we hear from Dennis, Bob is back to sing The Freedom of Forgiveness by Stephan Mitchell. Welcome, Bob.
There's a sweetness in surrender when you see beyond your scars. It's not the things in life that you've been through that make you who you are. And there's a freedom of forgiveness when you learn to just let go. Holding on so tight won't change a thing, and change is how we grow. Learn how to live, learn to forgive yourself. Forgiving yourself, you'll learn to forgive someone else. You'll find the way. There's a freedom of forgiveness when you learn to just let go. Holding on so tight won't change a thing, and change is how we grow. So learn how to live and learn to forgive yourself. Forgiving yourself, you'll learn to forgive someone else. You'll find a way. You'll find the way. You know the way.
Hey, Dennis Merritt Jones here. I'm glad you could join me. I wanted to share some ideas this morning with you that I've been percolating in consciousness for the last few months. About 2 months ago, I had a rotator cuff surgery on my right shoulder, and it really put me down for the count. I was amazed at how unable I was to do much other than sit and think. So I did a lot for the last couple of months. I've been doing a lot of sitting and thinking and praying. And one of the places that shows up for me, it keeps burbling up for me, a place that I get a chance to revisit the tools in my spiritual tool bag and keep them clean and sharp and useful. One of those tools that needs to be cleaned off and used on a regular basis is forgiveness. For me, forgiveness is not for the faint of heart, because just the word brings up all kinds of visions in people's minds, either positive or negative. Mahatma Gandhi really nailed it when he said, "The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is an attribute of the strong." Ooh, breathe into that. The weak can never forgive, but forgiveness is an attribute of the strong. Now, in order to enter that space that Gandhi is offering us in mind, it's imperative to understand the practice of unconditional forgiveness, and it is not meant to diminish the fact that many of us have legitimate reasons to be angry or resentful toward other people or persons, And this is also not to say that we can't be legitimately victimized by other people, because we most certainly can be. Relatively speaking, we only need to look at the world in which we live to see what could be labeled as unforgivable acts of brutality, terrorism, murder, physical or sexual abuse, embezzlement, fraud, infidelity, political. Well, I don't go into politics. There's no point in that, because there's lots of room for forgiveness there. But I guess the point is this: who in their right mind would deny that being a victim of such things doesn't warrant true and authentic anger and resentment toward the perpetrators? And here's where the slope gets slippery. The slope gets slippery, the slippy gets sloped. Anyone can be victimized. Anyone can be victimized. But here's the thing. Take a breath. Remaining to be a victim by clinging to the past and dragging it along with us day after day, year after year, is a choice that we get to make. And the tool that allows us to put some healing salve on that lack of forgiveness is the idea that in any given moment we can change our mind about the past and make a new future out of it, rather than dragging the past into the future and reliving what it's been. So the point is this: that anger in itself, which we all experience, is not really the problem. The real problem is resentment. Anger is a productive, creative energy that flows through us, and we direct it. And the question can be: it can be very creative, positive energy if it's used to create something positive. When dealt with mindfully and proactively, anger can be a powerful mobilizing factor that results in positive change for ourselves and our world. However, when dealt with reactively and mindlessly, anger can create great destruction, which at the end of the day causes suffering for everyone, including ourselves. And so I guess one of the primary things that I want to talk to you about this morning is really understanding the necessity for forgiveness and understanding the difference between anger and resentment, because those two things go hand in hand. Anger, when we address anger in a conscious and proactive way, how many of us have ever felt angry towards another person, or maybe even ourselves, and we all went mindless and began to act out in ways that were not very thoughtful for ourselves or others, probably most of us. So it's important to understand the difference between anger and resentment, and the role that forgiveness can play in moving us past those two places. Anger, understand in itself, when we address anger in a conscious and proactive manner, the energy caused by a certain occurrence or event is diffused as its purpose is being served. Its energy is being spent or redirected in a positive way. Okay, so anger can be productive when we're aware of it and we can witness the energy of it and direct it in a way that is productive and not harmful for ourselves or others. And yes, there is a way to spend the energy of anger in a positive way, but we have to be conscious to do it. Okay. Resentment, on the other hand, is the clinging to the regeneration of anger, if you will, caused by an event that is resent, or think of resentment, resent energy through our minds and our bodies on a continual basis, which when it becomes, at that point, it becomes our master and ultimately our destroyer. So resentment is simply anger that the button got stuck on and it doesn't know when to let go. Resentment is dragging the past into the future. Resentment is dragging your anger from the past into the future. And as we know, Buddhists say that holding resentment towards someone is like drinking arsenic and not even realizing what you're doing. It's not good for you. So I guess the point of this is we want to really talk and explore about the necessity of forgiveness. The people that we hold in resentment are actually holding us prisoners in a mental and emotional jail cell they created, but we maintain. Think about that. The people we hold in resentment today, we've dragged this energy of anger from the past into the future, or into the present, which gets projected to the future. When we hold people in resentment today, they're actually holding us prisoner to that energy. And we're stuck in an emotional jail that they created, but we continue to maintain by the energy of our focus. Even more ironic is this: in many cases, the people we hold resentment towards don't even know or care. They don't give a rip that you're angry at them or upset with them. Or in worst cases, some of them are 6 feet under pushing daisies up. They can give a rip whether you're still angry or resentful toward them. But here we are still, allowing them, when we're a victim, to hold us hostage to the past that no longer exists, while at the same time we're the one holding the key to this door cell. That key, of course, is forgiveness. Now, take a breath. Sit with me just for a minute. Let's explore this idea of forgiveness. When we awaken to the truth that forgiveness is the key that sets us free from the past, we set ourselves free and the cell door is flung wide open, and we step into a redefining moment, if you will, that has been there all along, waiting for us to turn the key and step into it. Your redefining moment is just on the other side of your next choice to forgive. Because when you forgive, you let go of the past. It gives you a chance to redefine who you are today. So at the end of the day, forgiveness is really not for the other person's benefit at all. Think about that. You don't forgive people for their sake, but you forgive them for yourself. Regardless of how illogical it may seem at times, it's through unconditional forgiveness that we surrender the past to the past and we enter into the present, feeling ourselves free to stand in the infinite light that knows how to heal our deepest and most painful wounds. In the present moment, it's the only place that can happen. It's a great quote. I love this quote by Rumi. He says, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." The wound is the place where the light enters you. Consider that just for a moment. Consider the wound being that place within you that you hold where there's a sense of resentment towards someone. In this context, I would say the act of forgiveness is not for the faint of heart, because it can require a tremendous amount of strength, as Gandhi says, and courage to strip ourselves naked of all the defenses, excuses, and righteousness, and expose ourselves to the brilliance of the light that Rumi is referring to. Imagine that. The light, the presence of God, enters through the wound, if we let it. The wound, that anger, that moment of violation, whatever it was, can be that moment that the light comes through, if we're willing to allow it to do so. If this action doesn't open the portal to a profound and redefining moment, perhaps nothing ever will. Take a breath. I know this is for some people, this is a heavy topic, because they feel justified in the anger and the resentment that they hold toward individuals. And I understand that first person, because I had a very huge betrayal of trust when I was a kid. And I understand how being a victim can work to serve you in the moment of survival. And yet to remain a victim here some 60 years later, 70 years, 65 years later, was a choice that I make. I don't want to have to continue to redrudge that same circumstance over and over and over in order for myself to be free. And here's the key. St. Paul gave us an admonition in the scriptures. He says, I die daily. I die daily. Paul says that our lives can be transformed by a renewing of our mind. Have you ever wondered how to renew one's mind? Well, again, Paul offers an answer to that question when he says, I die daily. To die daily is to allow each day to be done, finished, complete, kaput, when your head hits the pillow with a commitment not to drag yesterday into the day ahead. Easy enough to do? It's easy to say, not quite so easy to do. While it's a metaphor, to die daily means you must be willing to give birth to yourself over and over with each new sunrise, knowing that in doing so, you're stepping into the creative field of infinite mind, if you will, where all possibilities for a new life exist. This is the moment of recreation for you. But you cannot recreate anything new and good if you're dragging the past, which is full of toxic energy, with you into the present moment. Man, John Wayne summarized this idea, the sentiment, beautifully when he said, tomorrow is the most important thing in life. It comes to us at midnight very clean. It's perfect when it arrives, and it puts itself in our hands. It hopes we've learned something from yesterday. Ooh, that's such a great quote, isn't it? So I think the takeaway is this, that either using St. Paul's admonition or John Wayne's inspired words, can you see the necessity of forgiveness in the process of being renewed daily? What part, where and when are you holding yourself back from being fully present in the moment because you're dragging this dead corpse of anger and resentment with you where it does not belong? Be done with it. Let it go. Give it up. Give it up. A simple understanding of the law of cause and effect affirms that when you enter into a new day with a new mind, you create a new life. So forgiveness as a daily practice allows you to awaken each day spiritually and emotionally clean, as John Wayne says, renewed and realigned with the authentic self you came here to be. Do you remember the old saying, today is the first day of the rest of your life? Believe it. Believe it, my friends. And make good use of it because it ends at midnight. Welcome to your new life. Breathe. Forgiveness is not just a practice. It is the way to a redefining moment. And this moment is your moment to step into the light, wherever that wound may be, and let it be healed. Know that you're cared about and loved and appreciated. Peace.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all by myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you're discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, and I am one with God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, and I am one with God.
Thank you, Reverend Dennis, for your inspirational message about forgiveness, and Bob for anchoring that message with one of my favorite songs, I Release and I Let Go by Ricky Byers Beckwith. Now, as we move into our time of offering, I want to let you know that here at the Center for Spiritual Living Sarasota, we're available to support you in knowing the power and presence of your spiritual essence. We offer prayer support, inspiration, encouragement, and opportunities for virtual community and connection. And we're so grateful for your generous financial support of this center that allows us to support you. There are 3 easy ways to share your offering. On your screen, you'll see our website, which is www.cslsarasota.com, where you can choose a couple of options. You can select the donate button, which allows you to contribute via PayPal or by credit card, or you can mail a check to our address. You can also set up automatic contributions through your own online banking. And now I invite you to place your hand over your heart as you reflect on your gift, blessing it as you share it, and know this with me. My gift goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper, and the divine flow returns it to me, multiplied abundantly. Now, please join me in our offering affirmation on your screen. I give thanks that I may share of my good, my love, and my support. Thank you so much. Do you need prayer support? I'd like to draw your attention to the green prayer request button. We invite you to use this feature to send us your request. Our 5 licensed spiritual practitioners, Kathleen Frankert, Ron Frost, Nicole Leeds, Sean Scanlon, and me, are available to know and affirm spiritual truth with and for you in whatever challenge you may be experiencing. We're also available for 1-hour spiritual coaching sessions by appointment. These sessions offer the opportunity to explore a deeper understanding and practical application of the spiritual truth that transcends your problem or challenge. For more information, check our website under the staff link at the left side of the screen and then select Practitioners. Here on our website, you can also sign up to receive our weekly email newsletter. Please also check out our Facebook page for upcoming events. I have one announcement for you this morning. Our Spiritual Living Circle meets via Zoom every Wednesday evening for 1 hour from 7 to 8 p.m. to discuss an article from the current month's Science of Mind magazine. This week, we'll be discussing the article by Ron Fox in the February issue entitled The View from Within. This is a wonderful no-cost opportunity for spiritual development and social connection with other like-minded individuals. If you'd like to participate, please email me at the address shown on your screen, and I'll send you the Zoom link, article, and discussion guide. Now, as we conclude this sacred time together, let us move forward into the week ahead in peace and love. I invite you to listen or join in singing our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. Thank you for being with us, and have a great week, everyone.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God our Creator. We are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my song.